It's that time again. Time for Mule and Donkey Talk. My name's Dave. This here's Steve Edwards. That guy right there in the hat. That's Steve Edwards. That's right. The man, the myth. No, not the myth. The legend. The living legend. We're here to talk about mules and donkeys. Every Wednesday we do this. Why? Because you know what? Doggone it, you're worth it. And those animals are worth it. Get out
Oh
there,
yeah.
enjoy being an owner, enjoy being a partner and work with these animals, and enjoy what God has created in them. And sometimes that's a little bit difficult to do. Why? Not because the animal, I mean, sometimes the animal, but more because we don't know how to communicate with the animal. And so on Wednesdays, we get together for an hour to help you learn how to communicate your best with the animals so that when you go out on the trail, so that when you head to the Grand Canyon, so that when you go to Yosemite or Yellowstone, or you travel across the country like our friend Bernie Harberts, you get the experience that you signed up for and a whole lot more. So that's why we're here. Why are you here? Well, that's what we want to know. We want to know, first off, if you're here. So if you are here, in your name, in the comments section, put your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather is like. That lets us know that you're here. That helps us get to know you. But then we're here to answer your question. So why are you here? What do you want to know today? What are you working on? What are you trying to accomplish with your animal? And if there's anything that we can do to help you, well, that's what we're going to do. We'll give you the information. We'll let you get out there. And if you need any help along the way, applying that information, we'll be here. So like I said, all that we ask is three things. Number one, put in the comment section your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather's like. And if any of our friends are watching this on the replay, we're so glad that you're here. We hope that you can join us live one of these Wednesdays. It sure is a lot of fun. And you didn't know it, but you got a mule and donkey family just waiting for you to come hang out with us. Second thing, ask any and every question you got. And then the third thing is that you share the broadcast. If you're on YouTube, it's as easy as just go ahead and clicking in the comments section, saying hello, and subscribing. And then if you're on Facebook, put your name in the comments section and tag a friend. Steve, what's been going on over the last week with you?
Well, days are going by so fast anymore, Dave. I don't know. I was just looking at the thermometer, and I said, "Holy macaroni!" He said it's 103 degrees. That's ground level.
There.
Yeah, here,
Right
ground
now.
level. Yeah, ground level on the ground. Now, always on the ground, it's always warmer than it is up higher, So out on my back patio on the north side, it's 83 degrees. But on the south side, on the ground where my thermometer is, it's a special thermometer that we get rain and this sort of thing. It figures out what all that is. But it says it's 103 degrees. Yes, sirree. There we are.
Thanks. No thanks. But I guess there's nothing we can do about it. It's coming for us. But you know what? I take solace. Everyone's like, how do you survive in Arizona during the summertime? They all want to know, how do you do it? I'll tell you how I do it. Number one, stay inside. Number two, air conditioners have come a long way. And number three, don't move. If you just sit still, your body temperature will stay as low as it can go. That's what my mom would tell me. I'd be like, Mom, I can't. Of course, not now. When I was a little kid, when I was like 8, Mom, I can't sleep. I'm hot. And then she'd go, well, don't move. You'll cool down. That's not really what I was wanting. I was hoping you'd stand up and go punch the thermostat a little bit. But yeah, now I say that to my kids. Well, stop moving. All right. Anyways, what's that?
What we did when we were younger, we had no air conditioners, so we would take sheets and get them wet and pull them over top of us, and that was how we'd stay cool.
That you hear that, folks, right there. That's the cowboy way. So if you want this authentic cowboy, actually no, the cowboy way is just go out there and find a lake somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, just strip down and let her go.
Let's have some fun here, Steve. Let's see who's hanging out with us. We got Farrah from Utah joining us. Polly's here from Barnesville, Minnesota. We've got Carla here, Northern British Columbia. You know what that means. We've gone international. Get the glockenspiel. Let's bring out the band. We're international. Thanks, Carla. So glad that you're here. Rhonda's here from Waynetown, Indiana. We got Mary watching from sunny Florida. I'm going to be going to Florida here in 2 weeks, Steve. I forgot to tell you that. I'm going to be out of town for one of these Wednesdays for spring break. I'm taking the family to Disney World.
Oh, Disney World. Well, you going to take Stevie too?
I'm going to take them all.
Oh, even Stevie.
Lose it between here and that. No, I would. That's one of the tough things about being a parent is like, you know, some of the things that you have to punish your kids with are the things that you're most excited about. And sometimes when you're like, no screen time, and really it's just a punishment for you because now you have to watch them the whole time and you don't get your 10-minute break. So I'll be in Disneyland down there in sunny Florida, Mary. So if there's anywhere I need to go in Orlando, tell me. Rip is watching. Hey, Rip, good to have you here. Linda, the mule servant. Theo, the sweet one-eyed mule in nice warm mud in central Ohio, 57 degrees. Good to have you here, Linda. Michelle is watching from Ohio. Linda says, drink beer. Stay cool, drink beer. There you go. We got a restaurant here, Linda, called Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers. If that doesn't just say what it is, I don't know what would. Debbie's watching from Washington. Polly says, that's how we deal with negative 52 degrees, except with a furnace instead of an AC. That's right. That's right. And you don't want that oil to run out or that gas. Jackie's here from Placitas again. Good to have you here, Jackie. Always happy to see you. Jana Griffin. I feel like you've been here, but I feel like I haven't seen your name in a little while, Jana. I'm glad that you're here. Good to have you. Bill is watching. 62 degrees and sunny this morning, but clouds and rain are on the way. Sharon, Mules of Ohio and Mules of Indiana. Mules of Ohio and Mules of Indiana. We're going multi-state. Matt is watching from Rhode Island. We got Mark here. From Virginia, 63 degrees and sunny. Bob is watching from Herman, Nebraska, 78 and sunny. Y'all get some more friends in here. Invite some more people. I'm seeing some names here that I have seen over the weeks, and I'm seeing a few new names. Let's get some more folks in here. Charlene is watching from Thornville, Ohio, and Cowboy Ken is watching from Connecticut, 43 degrees. Now, folks, go ahead. Get your questions into the comment section. We're going to get to them. We're going to start right now with a question from Robin. Robin sent this in earlier this week. Says, can a 2-year-old Molly female grow canine teeth?
No. Let me put it like this. On a rare time, very, very rare time. That's a 2-year-old. So, you know, we're a long ways from having the rest of their teeth. You got 3 more years before things are really all there. But your canines are on the bottom. They're in front of the incisors. So here's the incisors. Here's your canine. Okay. Now don't mistake your wolf tooth, which is on the top, for your canine. But your canine sticks right up. But I don't ever remember seeing a Molly Mule with a canine.
Now, you want to get the canine teeth removed? Is that what you... No, you leave the canine teeth. What are the teeth you get removed?
That would be the upper teeth right here, and those are called the wolf tooth. They're up in the top. They're in front of your molars.
One of the things that really perplexed me, Steve, early on was just folks would say they're tripping, or folks would say they're acting uncomfortable in their back, or things like this. And you say, well, did you get the wolf teeth pulled? Why are the teeth so integral to their overall movement? You and me, when we get a toothache, it doesn't affect the foot. I mean, unless there's some weird nerve thing going on. But a toothache here doesn't really affect our back. It just kind of like hangs up here. So what is it that makes getting these teeth pulled and having the teeth floated so important?
Very, very important. It's, when it comes down to the teeth, we look at the teeth, and these are molars, okay, that are in the back behind. And they get sharp points on them. You see how my fingers are uneven here? Okay, that's what a lot of your teeth looks like on the in your mules. And what happens is these are the bottom teeth and these are the upper teeth. Now they're hanging up. So when a mule drops his head, those teeth hang up and makes him uncomfortable, so he'll raise his head back up. Well, you're thinking he's being obnoxious, which he's not. He's saying to you, hey, I got a problem with my teeth here. Let's fix it. So here's what happens. Here's the other part too. You got the head. This is the nose here, okay? And what happens is the TMJs hang up in the back. And so sometimes you have to do some special work to the TMJs. The biggest thing is, folks, every spring, come April, okay, you need to get your teeth floated, and you need to get your worming all done. Get that done, and you'll do good, all right?
Awesome. Very good. All right, let's hop back over to the chat. Let's see. Myra's here watching from Southern California, as warm as it was cold last week, hoping for rain. Steve, so I was sorting through some messages that have come in, questions that we're going to answer. So I didn't hear if you said this. Did you say what the difference is between the wolf teeth and the canine just then?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very good. So there you
Wolf
go,
teeth
Linda.
are on the bottom, canines are on top. I mean, canines are on the bottom, wolf teeth was on the top.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks, Linda. Hopefully that answers your question. Hey, Trace is here. Good day, Steve and Dave from Lowood, Queensland, Australia, taking us international again. Queensland has seen a flooding disaster. Oh no, just trying to keep hooves dry. 600 milliliters of rain in 3 days. Is that a real concern, Steve, keeping the hooves dry?
Yes, and yes. Okay. Here's the problem. It's nice to have them wet, okay, especially when you're trimming them up, okay. But you get, when the foot gets wet, it will expand some, okay. And then when the foot comes up, it contracts. But here's the problem. Once the foot gets wet, it's able to take that hoof wall and expand. And then what happens is, the mule, when it starts drying up, the foot starts contracting. Well, there's where you get the contracted heels, especially in the back. So yes, it's a problem. I know it's tough to try to keep them dry. I tell you what I've done is I put in granite in all of my stalls, my 10 by 20 stalls. I put in granite, and by putting it in granite, that's good hard ground. And they've got half of their 10 by 20 stall, so 10 foot of it is under roof, so they're able to go over there and stay dry. It's not mud, so therefore the granite, it doesn't pack up. Now, when you have wet, muddy, cold, snowy days, always trim your mules very short, very, very short, so the mud doesn't ball up underneath the foot, okay? And here's the problem. There's a lot of bacteria that we can start getting into the feet, and we can have all kinds of abscesses and different problems. So you want to try to keep the feet, as dry as possible. Realize it's hard to do, but you really want to do that. But here's the big thing you want to do. Once the weather starts setting in, look at your heels. They're going to start contracting, okay? Now, it's going to be hard to see unless you've already drawn a pattern and then see it come down. So you put the foot down on a piece of paper and draw a pattern. But the biggest thing that you got to be concerned about is your mule contracted heels, because then you'll have a problem with the frog.
Awesome. Great question, or a great comment there. Just saw it as an opportunity to talk a little bit about hoof care, because that's so important. You don't got a foot, you don't got an animal. This one came in from Jody. Jody's got a picture here, so I'm going to throw the picture up, Steve. She says, we recently got a mule that we were told is 13 years old. I noticed that he frequently stands kind of stretched out with his front legs forward instead of underneath him. Is this something I should be concerned about? He seems to walk fine. When it's colder out, he walks a little more gingerly, like his joints might be stiff. I included a picture so you can see how he stands. Thanks in advance.
Okay, show me the picture. I don't see the picture yet.
Do you not see that picture there, Steve?
No. Picture. Where is the picture?
Open up. Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. All right, let's see here. Let me try again. Can you see that?
No. I got share screen. I got mute. I got hang up.
I wonder why it's not showing up there. Okay, let's do this.
While you're doing that, let me just talk about that.
Okay, I'm going to send you a text message now while you're talking, and then you'll be able to get it.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So now here's the deal, folks. Your mules need, while they're standing straight up and down. You'll see them. When they are with their front end out, remember, that's all your weight. Weight of the neck, weight of the shoulders, all that weight is there, and it's on that front end. When the mule sticks his feet out in front like that, he's telling you he has a problem. Now, could be something as serious as a rotated coffin bone. It could be something as serious as ring bone, okay? The only way you're going to know is call your veterinarian, have him do some x-rays on it, and then you'll know for sure. But the mule's already telling you he's uncomfortable. Don't ride him, okay? Don't ride him. When your feet are sore, you darn sure don't want to walk. You imagine carrying all of his weight and your weight on top of that. You could be creating more of a problem, especially if it's a rotated coffin bone, which can happen a lot, folks. It can happen a lot because of this. Because of incorrect shoeing, all right? Now, that's rotated coffin bone. So here's the coffin bone, okay? This is the outside wall. Here's the coffin bone. And what happens is it starts going back, okay? And when that does that, that means he won't be long. He can hardly walk. Now, I seen a guy the other day send me a video of a guy that had a mule for sale. Matter of fact, he went ahead and bought this mule. Folks, don't ever buy a mule. Ever buy a mule when you see somebody cantering on the asphalt. Pound, 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 pound. That's where you get your ring bone, your hard grounds like that, okay? Especially cantering on asphalt. Folks, I see it all the time. This video, this guy was walking the mule up and down the road. Vehicles were going by, a Ranger quad was going by, and everybody's thinking, oh, wow, look how well trained. No, the mule's got a good disposition. It's not training. Training is in a 10-foot circle. Turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters, side pass, that sort of thing. Stop, back up, in a 10-foot circle. Then you've impressed me. See it going up and down like this? Now, this guy's got nothing but problems with this mule, okay? Nothing but problems. So let me look here. Look at this picture, Dave. Oh, yeah, that mule's got problems. Oh, yeah, bad problems. Look at that left front leg sticking out there. He's sore. He is really, really sore. And I wish I could see the neck closer, Dave, but that mule there, he's hurting. He's really hurting. So get him to the vet right away. Don't wait. Let me know how you do. Please stay in touch with me. I want to know how you do with this mule. Good-looking mule. He's got a kind of a downhill hip a little bit, but that left front, Dave, is the most sore. See how he's pivoting on the right leg and the left front sticking out? Yep. Folks, when you see that all the weight from the neck and all the weight from the shoulders is right on top of the front end. And that's why a lot of people just shoe the front end only. Don't do that. Shoe the whole animal, because here's what happens. When you only shoe the front end, the back end isn't really driving like it should. So then the head gets elevated, like you see in this picture here. You see how the mule is kind of elevated a little bit. His head's nose is sticking out. The head elevates, that hollows out the back. Then with your spine, instead of your spine being like this, it ends up being broken down like this. Yes, sirree. So, get this mule to the vet right away. And stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing with that.
Awesome. Thanks for taking a look at that, Steve.
You bet.
Let me bring up our next question here. Actually, let's hop back over. We had a lot of people join here in the last couple minutes. Let's see.
So, David, we got the pictures of my Ireland friend with his gelding mule.
I do. I'll have to bring those up. Okay, let's see. I'll bring those up here in a few. Okay, Billy. Let's see. Okay, Matt from Rhode Island is watching. Okay, Mark's here. Bob's here. Billy's here. Billy from Toronto. I forgot to give him the glockenspiel. Let's give him the glockenspiel.
There we are.
Let's see here. Linda says, we used to live near a diner called Eat Here Now. Sounds like my type of diner. Myra's watching. Okay. All right. We're getting caught up here. Okay. Tanya's here. 75 degrees in Penrose, Colorado. So happy. I'm home to watch and learn. We're glad you're here, Tanya. Let's see. Lois is watching, a balmy 30 degrees from Maine, I'll say. Linda, Trace, all y'all hanging out. I love it. Susan's watching. Susan and daughter Jessica watching in Michigan. Nice 46-degree day. Enjoy Michigan out there. Esther is watching from Switzerland. Hey, Esther. Give you the glockenspiel as well. Yeah. We got Michelle asking, do mules get thrush, fungus, the same as a horse? So what's thrush, and do they get it the same as a horse?
Yes, they do. And there again, Dave was talking about wet, a lot of moisture. That's the fungus that you get. It's white colored and it's on the sole. So what I do is I take and I scrape it down and then I pour bleach on it, or I take and spray bleach. I prefer to do it both, either way. Okay. But be sure to, wear rubber gloves and be sure to be careful of getting that on your clothes, of course. But bleach is what I use. There's all kinds of high-end dollars and cents you can use and buy. Don't worry about doing that. The bleach will do the perfect job. Usually a tablespoon of bleach will do a good job. Just kind of hold the foot up, put a couple of tablespoons of bleach on there, move the foot around, and that'll start doing it. And then you want to keep it dry. You want to put someplace to get dry. If it's wet, a lot of mud and stuff, you're going to be fighting a never-ending battle. Now, if it gets really bad to where it looks like you're starting to create a problem, then you want to go ahead and have the farrier put shoes on and put pads with some yarn. It's called yokum, and it goes between the pad and the sole, and it's like a disinfectant, and it really works well.
Awesome. All right. So, hey, Steve, real quick housekeeping right here. Tell me, can you see the picture now?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right. I'm trying to work it out. So I did a move this week in a new office this week. And so I'm new computer set up, getting all my sign-ins going and everything like that. So I'll figure it out. I don't know if it'll be today or if it'll be for next week. But the next question that we got here. Oh, and Steve, those pictures that you sent, because I'm on a new machine, I don't have all of my emails and my text like readily available. Do you have those real quick that you could re-forward me again?
Let me take a look here real quick.
While you're doing that, say here, let's see here. Stacy is watching. All y'all saying that you're able to see it on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, great. Fiery Waco's here, North Texas, where the weather is always insane, from 27 degrees to 77 degrees in a week. That's right. Just seeing if you can handle it there, Fiery Waco. Susan is watching. Soak those feet in ice water for 20 minutes at a time, and you get him to a vet. There you go, from Susan Callahan. Susan Farrell has a question. Did you find those pictures, Steve, yet?
I'm looking now, but keep on talking. We'll see what we can do.
All right, so let's get this question here. This one came from Caleb. He says, I found you about 6 months ago by looking up mule training on YouTube. I have seen many other videos and styles, but you focus on the mule. I have 6 mules, 3 ride and 3 pack. That is a man who is wealthy in mule. I've been riding and packing for close to 20 years now. The string I had was a pretty good bunch, but they have all been retired or passed due to old age. The 6 I have now is a fresh bunch with all different types of training. I'm looking to start them all over with fresh, consistent mule training. I purchased your Mule Riders Martingale last fall because I was using a smooth snaffle bit that developed a terrible stop. I noticed your combo kit come along, hitch, halter, and video are out of stock. Can I get the come along with the video to get started, then get the halter later? If so, what video do you suggest? Thank you for your knowledge. So I went ahead and I gave him the links, and I told him that we would talk about this. I know that even if you're getting a quote unquote trained mule, I know that you still want to grab that come along rope and be on the ground building a foundation before you do everything else, because you don't know
Yes.
the mule doesn't know you, you haven't
Yes.
developed the communication yet, you don't understand them, and if you don't know you can control them on the ground, why would you try to get in the saddle? So I know that you'll say that. What else would you say here to Caleb, who's looking to get this fresh bunch up to speed like his former bunch?
Now, is this Caleb in Washington?
It's Caleb Gentry. I don't know if he's in
I don't remember his
Washington
last
though.
name. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, folks, let me tell you a little story. I used to do these clinics, and I took my mule with me, and all over the United States. And then I would show the mule and show folks this mule has a pretty good foundation. Notice, folks, I did not say it was a trained mule. Here's the thing. Here's what you got to do. The problem is when it comes down to these mules with a good foundation, what happens is once I'm done, then you start riding that mule. You're the one that ends up training it to your fit, what your hands do, what your legs do. Now, should you, quote, break the mule, so to speak, and you got problems, you've always got a foundation to go back to. Remember, 3, 6, 9, 12, ask, tell, demand. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, ask, tell, demand. Get those 6 things. Now, when it comes down to these mules, quote, being trained, you just look on the internet and you see some of the sorriest riding and equitation and mules and donkeys. Folks think they're trained. Like I was just telling you about this guy earlier. Beautiful Palomino mule. Beautiful. Stood there really nice. The guy paid a ton of money 5 years ago. He takes him home. Guess what happened? He hit the ground. Yes, the rider hit the ground. So for 5 years, he put the mule back in the pasture, and 5 years, that mule was set there. And now he's going back, starting to do ground foundation training. It's like I told you, folks, because you see them ride up and down roads, cross rivers, go down a trail, doesn't mean diddly. Doesn't mean it, okay? Now, let me go back to my story. Here my mule is. Get this in your mind. Here my mule is. And you just see me ride him, and all these people are up in the audience. Just see me ride this mule. I just side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters, picked up all 4 feet, load him in and out of the trailer, went across tarps, pulled things. I did all kinds of stuff with this mule, all in about 10 minutes. And then I said to everybody, okay, how many of you here have been riding 20 years? Put your hand up. They put their hand up. All right. Come on down here and ride this mule. They climb on that mule. 5 minutes later, folks, that mule looked like it wasn't even trained. Now, everybody just saw this mule. Everybody saw this mule do everything. And what did the people end up doing? Ever since Adam and Eve, we always put the blame on somebody else. Like Adam said, hey, God, it was the woman that made me do it. Had to eat the apple. Nope. Folks, take responsibility. It's you sitting in the saddle. You just saw the mule doing everything just right. It's you. These so-called trained mules out there, no, folks, nowhere near it. Watch my videos. Watch the simplicity of what it's supposed to look like. If a 10-year-old girl is riding that mule, she's probably a better rider than you and me, okay? Just because she's riding that mule doesn't, and she's basically sitting, doesn't mean that she's trained. Watch the girl. She's going around in a circle in the round pen, right and left. Or she's out maybe going through cones or something like that. Or maybe she's just riding across the field. That's not trained. It tells me that you can sit on the mule. It tells me the mule's got a pretty good disposition. Mules going down the Grand Canyon, just as an example. Okay? They've got some good basic training, you bet. Especially when I was there, and Ross Knox, Ron Clayton, and those guys are good guys, all right? Those mules go down that canyon every day. As far as they're concerned, all you are is a pack outfit. That's it. Some of those mules, we don't even have the reins attached to the bit, because if you pull on them, you make the mule mad. So anyway, they go down the canyon, come back up, almost without flaw. Why is that? They've done the same thing every day. But you take that same mule and you try to side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters, they're not trained for that. They're only trained to follow one in behind the other, go down to Phantom Ranch, and come back up, period. Most of these mules, when folks take you out on the trail, they go in one behind the other. All right? They go in one behind the other. That's not riding. All that mule is doing that you're riding, that he's setting on, is following the next mule. That's all it's doing. You need to watch that person ride and show you that the mule has a good foundation. Side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters, pick up all 4 feet, stop, back up nice and light, all within a 10-foot circle. Then I can say, okay, I've got a good foundation. Then I can go out on the trail. But before that, folks, take your mules. When you get them home, don't put them in a pasture. Put them in a 10 by 20 stall or 20 by 20 and do your groundwork every day. Okay? Don't go climbing in the saddle. You'll end up like so many of my clients that end up with problems. Start with your groundwork. Get to know the mule. Build a good foundation of you, the leader, them, the herd.
Awesome. This next question, this one comes in from Teresa. It says, do you have a video of Steve riding with the martingale? I don't think we have any videos of you riding with the martingale, Steve. She says, my mule really puts his head too low. Will the martingale help that? He constantly chews on the bit too. I think the mule's trying to tell her something. What do you think he might be communicating?
Okay, number one, get your teeth floated. Number one thing, get them floated, get them right. That's one. Okay. Number two, head down too low. Check and see if you put the bit up too high. Remember, always remember this. Never put the mule's bridle on pre-adjusted. If you took it off the day before and you didn't adjust it down and you put it right back on again, you're not helping that mule at all. You're making that mule uncomfortable. Okay. So, and now also I want to tell you this. This is really important. So many of these bits are designed for horses. Yep. Because there hasn't been that many mules around up to the past 10 years. Okay. And everybody's been using their horse bit. Way different palate. Way different way of going. Way different. Okay. So going back to this, if the head is going too low, get the teeth floated. Okay. And the next thing, make sure he's packing a bit, picking up and carry it. Now, on the next part, loosen up the strap that comes between. If the teeth are right and he's packing the bit, now loosen up the strap on the bottom, your adjustment strap, which keeps them from throwing their nose up, throwing their head up. Okay. Now, the other thing is sometimes they will try to evade you. Once your teeth are floated, once the bit's adjusted, once you've got the strap loosened up and he's still dropping his head, he's trying to evade you. It's the same thing as elevating the head. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to take your hands right and left, and you're going to milk the cow up. You're going to go up, 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 bump them with a bump. Right, left, right, left. And as soon as they bring their head up, get your hands quiet. They drop their head again. They don't quite have it where you want it. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Bump them. When they start getting their head correct, get quiet. See, each time you get quiet, you're telling the mule, this is what I'm looking for. This is where the head is. Okay? Try that. See how it works. Get back to me. Let me know how you do.
Awesome. Love answering those questions.
Yep.
All right, let's head back over to Facebook and YouTube. We've got, hey, Sherman Johnson here. Johnson's Taxidermy, Norman, Oklahoma, 76 degrees. Love having you here, Mr. Johnson. We've got Fiery Waco saying, is this a pic of bad conformation? Would love to see side-by-side examples. So it was this one right here. Can you see that now, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so you were talking about that overall. I mean, is there, they're hurting. Is this overall bad conformation?
Well, I can't really tell because the mule's hurting. He's not standing straight. Right now, the back end, the back hocks are back behind the hip. We want them straight, see them straight up and down. But this mule is hurting so much that he's trying to find some way to get comfortable. Get the mule to the vet right away. I can't go in and look at the feet, but if we can get a closer look. But I would just say this, period. Folks, watch a mule. When you're looking at buying one of the first things you do is you watch them standing in the corral. Everybody wants to go right to the riding. No, don't do that. Watch the mule. Watch and see what he's telling you. Look and see how much he's moving his mouth. Look at how much he's got his head elevated, and then watch him stand still and quiet. That right there is one very, very hurting mule.
All right. Mary's watching from Arkansas, 73 degrees. I purchased a saddle pad, rode the Guadalupe Mountains, and something else. And you, Mary, you've got to... I'm on the edge of my seat. And you what? Tell us how it was, Mary. Michelle says, could that mule be foundered? That is stretched out to the front.
It could very well be grass foundered. You can see how big and heavy the neck is. I can't see the crest of the neck. I can't see across the top of the ribs. But look at the crest. Look at the neck. Do you see how it kind of comes up to a point and down? Could very well be grass founder. Folks, remember I tell you all the time, get your mules off of that cotton picking smorgasbord. They don't need to be out there with all that grass, okay? They don't need to be out there. So I can't really, thanks, Dave, for bringing it up closer. That could be just the mane too. But it's a big, heavy, thick-necked mule until I seen the dock of the tail, across the top of the ribs, and a closer look on the crest of the neck. I really couldn't tell you. But my number one thing is, no matter what, the mule is seriously telling you, I am hurting bad. Get that mule to the vet right away. And please get back to us and tell us how it went.
Mary is watching from Arkansas. It's 73 degrees. Carolyn says, enjoying the warm weather. Sun is out and 20 degrees. That is a unique feeling when it's really cold outside, but the sun is shining bright and the sun is warm. That's a pretty cool sensation. I like it when it gets that way. It's a lot of fun. Billy's got the question. What are the pros and cons of female versus male? Thanks. Now, Billy, we really don't get into the battle of the sexes here. I'm sure the ladies out there have all sorts of cons that they could say about us. Oh, sorry, mules. He's asking male and female mules. Okay, all right.
There we are.
I'll let you take I'm a dad, so those are my dad jokes. I'll let you take this one, Steve. You could talk about the males and the females.
Yeah, hey, I tell you what, a long time ago, get this, a long time ago, I was taking my grandson, and he was 5 or 6 years old at that time, and my daughter homeschooled, and so she told him everything, you know. So we're in Walmart, and we're going through the cosmetics and things like this. My wife gave me some orders and said, go get these for me. And you know, when they tell you, go get something, you better go do it. Right, Dave?
That's
so
right.
He's sitting in the cart, and he's looking at me, and we're tickling each other, and we're having a good time, Grandpa and Hunter. And we come around the corner, here's these 2 teenage girls and this mom, you know. And I looked at them, and I'm starting to go. All of a sudden, Hunter says, Grandpa, girls have vaginas and boys have penises. Them girls and that mom looked up at me, and I turned that cart around and went back the other way. Zap! Woo! Like I said, my daughter pretty much did all the teaching. She's a teacher, but she homeschooled. So let's go back. There is not a nickel's worth of difference between a John Mule and a Molly Mule. John Mule being the male, Molly Mule being the female. Okay? Not a nickel's worth of difference when it comes down to training and riding and everything like this. Now, your Mollies on a rare time will come into a season and be seasoning during the spring especially, and they tend to want to look for the boys, even though they can't reproduce, but still, you know, when it comes down, folks, when you're looking to buy a mule, disposition, disposition, disposition. I've seen sorry dispositions with Mollies. I've seen sorry dispositions with John Mules, okay? The big thing is by disposition, then conformation, then training, then maybe color.
All right, so I got something fun here, Steve. Let's see here. Let me. All right. So we were looking at some animals. We were looking at that animal's conformation, and and we kind of said hard to tell, just because it's kind of far away, and there's all sorts of things going on there. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at some of the photos that our friends have sent in, and just let you make a few comments. Now these are on the website, and so just take a few moments. This is one that got sent in right here. Can you see that all right?
Let me take a look here. Got it.
All right. And so this one came in. Let's see. This is from, who is this one from? This is Jelly. And I don't remember who sent this in, but this is Jelly riding.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So number one, let's just take a look here. Notice this mule. Of course, her nose is kind of sticking out round. She has a hackamore on this mule, which is great. And notice she's not using a halter, but she's using a rope around the throat latch, part of the come-along hitch. All right. Now, notice how the mule is standing with the hackamore in the right hand. The hackamore goes around the nose. She's holding on to McCarty reins there in her right hand. Notice the mule's head is down almost the same size as the hip. Good looking mule, balanced pretty good. If she had less pressure on the McCarty rein, the mule wouldn't be sticking his nose out. But otherwise, that's pretty decent. Now, notice how, of course, right now, the left rear leg is back behind the hip. Anytime you want to show a mule, always have them stand straight up and down, look at it from the side. Like I would be judging the mule. I would be looking for what's called camped out. And with that left rear leg, if both legs were back behind the hip, we would call that camped out. So that's a conformation problem and would wear on the hoof incorrectly, okay? This mule's got a nice rounded hip, good clean in the shoulder, really looks nice.
Let's look again here. This one came in. What do you think here?
Righty. Let's see here. Okay. Kind of hard to tell. The mule is standing up on top of a pedestal, which is nice to do. Notice this mule's neck comes up out of the shoulder. You see that? It comes up, not down. The other mule, notice how his neck came down. So that's really important. Everything else on the mule looks really nice. And of course, maybe when she changes the mule like it's on flat ground, you can see a lot more. But here's the thing. I like this lady. She's got a helmet on. That's number one. Underneath that big old brow, she's got a helmet on. Love your helmets, okay? Notice also, I can't really see. It looks like maybe she's got a bitless bridle in there, but I can't really tell. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah. I don't care for those bits, folks. Anytime you connect to the nose, the mouth, underneath the chin, and I've talked to this lady before, nice mule, but those type of bits get you in trouble. Really, a lot of trouble. They get to where they don't want to stop and don't want to back up.
Looks like she's got a lot of stuff in the correct place here. First off, she's got a saddle that's got your bars on it. She's got a saddle pad that gives way to breathing up here. Notice the saddle's not sewed up in the back. Notice that it's open. Mm-hmm. A lot of times folks will buy a Steve Edwards used saddle, and folks have made modifications on it. You'll see this get sewed up right here, and folks will put a D-ring right behind here instead of the two D-rings on the other side. They'll want to ride with a crooper instead of a breeching. But right here, she's got it correct there. she's got her breeching right there, and of course you adjust it as you go along for the terrain. She's got her cinches. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like she did a pretty good job of position based upon what we're seeing.
Very good. The only thing I would critique as far as saying I wouldn't do this is, folks, don't tie the bow tie up on the D-ring of the saddle. Always use the tongue of the cinch. You can see the tongue hanging down there on the cinch. You can see it hanging down on the cinch to the left. There you go. See the left right there. Do you see the tongue hanging down? Folks, that tongue should be going into the latigo, i.e. the tie strap, and tie it off that way. Number one, it makes it easy to readjust. Number two, you don't have that big knot underneath your leg. Now, this is an awful nice mule. And like I told this lady, she did a great job. And like I tell everybody, folks, listen, this is really important. Go back in, Dave, the way you did before.
Other picture?
Yeah, the other picture. Okay, very nice mule. The lady tries hard. She does a lot of groundwork. Look at the buckle on the quarter strap next to the fenders. Go up a little bit there, Dave, with you right there. See the buckle? Notice how the buckle is hitting the fender. Move the buckle down toward the breeching. Now, notice, folks, I always tell everybody, hey, send me some pictures. Let me help you out, because there's a lot of little things that I can help you with that'll keep you from having problems. And that's what I'm here for, okay? It's nice to sell you a saddle, nice to sell you come along or whatever, but I want you to help the mule out and do it right. Now, Dave, I just sent you, check your email. I just sent you the picture of the guy from Ireland that has the colt problem.
All right, I'll get those fixed up here in the next little break. Let's see here. So, Billy, now that we've gone through the pros and cons of the male and female mules, we'll move on. Nolan says, hey, Nolan here, joining a little late. It's sunny and 24 above. So depending on where you're at in the world, Nolan, that could be really warm or that could be really cold. So let us know where you're watching from. Matter of fact, if you're hanging out with us and you have not said hello yet, I'm calling you out. We want to know that you're here. You're not an anonymous person. You're a real person. We want to make sure that you're here and that we can acknowledge you. So say hello, where your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather's like. Okay, Nolan just came back here. Okay, Nolan from Gardner, North Dakota. All right, Nolan, thank you very much. Mary Jo is watching from Roundup, Montana. It is raining but warm today. We've got David O'Brien, East Texas, 76. Lamar's here. Hey, Lamar, it's been a couple weeks. Good to have you back. 58 degrees, sunny riding mule weather. That it is, my friend. I'm working with my John Mule, Gustus, doing the ground tie, and he goes around to the left good, but turning to the right, he is so stiff-necked, can hardly get him to turn tight. What is the answer to this problem? So he's good going one direction, but the other direction, it's a mystery.
Dave, he's turning him too tight, okay? Let the mule do big swings to start with. Folks, when you're doing the come-along hitch, notice one of the things that I talked to the buckaroo that's on the video there. I tell him, don't pull so much, okay? Take it nice and slow. Let the weight of the come-along rope be enough for the mule to follow around. Don't just make the mule go around. Don't do that. Want the mule to end up going around nice and slow and quiet, okay?
All right. Give me 1 second. I've got something real nasty.
Real nasty. Just sent you another picture, too.
Ugh. All right.
Hang on to these pictures.
We're about to look at here, Steve. I'm not going to bring it up. You tell us what we're about to see.
All right, folks. If you got geldings, take and text Dave and say, I've got geldings. That's all right. And now, once you do that, now Dave's getting ready to whip a picture out on you. You're getting ready to see something pretty nasty.
You see that there?
Yeah. Folks, you know me, right, Dave? I'm going to tell you about everything. Everything. Now, this right here is a 2-year-old mule in Ireland. One of my clients named Robert, he's got about 5 of these colts that they've ridden. Okay. This is a mule's penis. Yep. That's pretty nasty. Now, young mules, this is one of the problems, folks, with having young stock and older stock with other things, okay, is that they can get different things. And this is one thing that happens that goes either on their nose or in this particular case goes on the penis. Now, it's just a growth from being young. You can let them just fall off, okay, or you can have the veterinarian cut them off, but they don't need to be cut off. Just let them dry up and fall off, okay? And Dave, I just lost the name of this particular thing. It just slipped my mind. It'll come to me here in a second. But now, what I want to talk to you about, and it'll come to me here in a minute, okay, is that if you got a John mule, a male mule, it's imperative you clean the scrotum, the sac area where the penis stays up in. One of the problems with a gelding is they do not bring their penis out enough, and therefore it develops what's called a bean, okay? And that bean ends up being a problem. That's not what caused this. This is just being a young mule, okay? But you can get a heavy infection with that. And because of the penises on mules they actually shed their outside skin a lot. So you're going to take, and you got to be careful here, folks. These mules can flat kick you pretty bad. They can be at first be pretty nice and barely kick at you, but they can get you where they can hurt you, even kill you. So you may want to call your veterinarian out and have him clean it, or you do it. Now, what I usually do is I start training them early to where I can touch around the penis area with rubber gloves on. And when the mule, and you got your come along hitch, remember, folks, your come along hitch is extremely important anytime you are training, anytime you're doing veterinarian work, anytime you're doing something different, like you go to a mule show or a horse show with your mule, or you go out on a new trail ride, do your groundwork, come along hitch, and walk them around, get them used to it on the ground. Okay. Now, let's go on here. You're going to want to put the come along hitch on, and you're going to want to try to use like a stick or something like that in the very beginning, and or a broom or something soft, and try to touch around that area. All right. And that will, that'll start getting the mule to think, well, maybe I got a kick because something's down there messing around that I don't want it to be doing that. Okay. And so they'll kick at you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to draw, I'm trying to think of what the name is of this, Dave. And it's, oh man. And I've talked about this so much. What? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah. Maybe if Robert is around, he could text me. That's a guy from Ireland. But as soon as I quit thinking about it, it's going to come to me. But you see this a lot. But here's the main thing I want to talk about, folks. You take your rubber glove and put Vaseline around it, rub up around in the sac area and up around the penis, and use the Vaseline and move her all around in there. Now, what this is going to do is the Vaseline will soften up all the skin that is peeling off of the penis. Like I said, they do shed the penis area. They do that, okay? Just like your frog sheds as well, okay? The penis area will shed. And you need to do this in all your geldings. And some of you have never done it. You've been very fortunate. You didn't end up with infections, especially on horses. They're really bad about it. But you need to get that done. Train your mule to get that done. It's one of the things that I always did when I built a foundation for a mule, that was one of the things is I taught him how to use, and this is the other thing I would do. If the come along hitch isn't getting it and the mule is still kind of kicking at you and stuff, that's when it comes to getting my video called Doctoring the Mule and Teaching him to Twitch. Creates natural endorphins. It doesn't hurt them. And Dave, we talked about this before, and we got some other pictures. And by the way, when we talk about the clinics coming up, the clinic that's coming up, you're gonna see me use a Twitch. You're gonna see how natural endorphins kick in. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for forwarding those to me. I appreciate being able to get to it.
You bet.
Let's hop back over to Facebook and YouTube. We've got Judy watching from Michigan. We've got Esther here saying, what do I have to look for if my mules have good body condition score?
You've already scored them for a good body condition?
What do I have to look for how do I spot a good body condition score?
Okay, we start from the hooves up. We want the hoof walls to be nice and clean and smooth, no ripples. The next thing, have your mule standing straight. Okay, and as they're standing straight, both 2 legs in the back, both 2 legs in the front, they're standing straight. Look and see that they're nice and conformed. The back legs are even with the hocks and even with the hips, straight up and down. From the point of the shoulder, you can draw a line right down to the back of the leg. There we're good. On the side. On the back, look at the feet. Are they pointed out like this? Or are they pointed in like this? All right. That's something to think about. Anytime the feet are turned in or out, that means when they were babies, they were not trimmed properly. They were not shod properly to be straight-footed. Anytime, and you're going to see this in the majority of mules out there, because people don't take care of their hooves. They say, oh, the mule don't need to be shod. Yes, he does. Okay. There's not hardly a week don't go by, Dave, that I don't talk to farriers. And they say people just got to understand it ain't the farrier trying to make money. It's farrier wanting to make the mule comfortable, and you have to trim them up. So then you go from there, balanced. If you're going to ride a trail mule, balanced. Top of the hip, top of the wither, top of the head, balanced.
Let's see here.
Sarcoid, that's the name. Remember I told you it would come to me?
Yeah.
It's called a sarcoid. Sarcoid. Okay. You probably can look it up there, Dave. Sarcoiditis? Is that what you come up with?
Yeah, a disease characterized by the growth of tiny collections of inflammatory cells in any part of the body. So humans can get them too.
Yep.
So I don't see anything about equine, but sarcoiditis, it looks like that's it.
Yeah, well, I never heard it called sarcoiditis.
Sarcoidosis. There we go. Sarcoidosis.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's if anybody wants to look it up, SARCOIDOSIS, sarcoidosis. Mackenzie asked a question, Steve. I don't think we have any updates, but she's asking, do you have an update for when rope halters will become available again?
I'm looking at probably 2 weeks right now, folks. It's a booger. About 2 weeks. And remember, get this in your mind. As far as I'm concerned, Dave, I'd never sell another rope halter. Okay, but they're kind of a necessary thing for a lot of people. So, did you see the picture of the lady that got the hackamore in her hand and just a loop around the neck? You see that picture? That picture pretty much lines. Sorry, Dave, I got to do something about that thing. Okay, that pretty much tells the whole story. Notice there's no halter on that mule. She's riding with a bozalis, okay, but there's no halter. Don't worry about the halters, folks. Do your groundwork. We got that one picture of what's his name it's on the come along rope, and it shows a picture of the horses and stuff.
Yeah.
Find
it here.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he just emailed me, and I'm looking for that now. He just emailed me
Yeah,
and
I
said, "Hey,
got it
thanks
right
for
here.
sharing."
Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Right
This
there.
is a mule. The guy, he's had about 3 months now. The mule was untouched before this.
That's a
Untouched.
donkey right there.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
not,
that one's a donkey. Yeah.
that's not that one.
No. It's the horse. I sent you a picture of the
Oh,
horse.
oh, I know what you're talking about. Give me
I
a
mean,
second. I'll
of the
find it.
mule with the big draft horses.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll find it here. But you were saying like just never sell one like that again, because really what people need is the control and the communication that comes with the come along rope. The rope halter is almost, these are my words, these are not yours, but it's almost kind of like it's like a throwaway thing. Like you don't really need it other than just to lead, sort of thing.
Even just to lead, Dave, you can just put a piece of baling twine around their neck and lead them. If they're well trained, hear this, folks. If they're well trained, if they word, you can baling twine. When that baling twine hits the ground, they should stand still and quiet. That's what they should do, folks. Okay. So, I tell people, we used to have really great horses up in the saddle, but we had lousy. That was back when yeah. We had really good news around in the saddle, but not really, really, really important. Really is you need to have work. Especially right now, nobody's riding probably. If you can get in a dry spot.
All right, I think I got it here. Then screen right here. Is this it, Steve?
Well, that's another guy. Okay.
Oh.
No, that's another one, which is good. I mean, now notice he took this mule in and out of that building. He was going in and out of that building with the come along hitch with his baby. The one I'm looking for, he's in a barn and he has a bunch of big draft horses on, and they're standing next to him.
Oh, yeah,
and the
I know
mule
which one you're
is
talking
standing
about.
there. Yeah.
All right.
But this guy here too. Yeah. Notice how he's walking this mule in and out of that building, And things like that you need to do. Can you see him right there? See him inside that building? It's in there someplace.
I got it coming through here. Okay.
I thought I just saw it there. Yeah, the one in the middle there. The one in the middle, he's that's the second one down. You see he's in the building. And he's taking that mule inside the building. You should be doing all that stuff, folks. It's not that you desensitize him to the building. It's like a trailer, okay? But you're doing the communication and you're learning to communicate with your mule. That's what you need to do.
All right. Do you see? Is that it right there?
Yeah, boy. Look at there, folks. Look at there. Mule standing there. Ain't nobody standing next to him. And he's learning to be ground tied. Notice big loops in the come along rope. The mule respects the halter, the come along rope, so much that he's standing still and quiet. You got that? Now, Dave, when we do the clinic here in April, we're going to do a lot of come along work. We're going to be seeing stuff like this here.
That's great. I was talking back and forth with Susan. There were a couple changes that I need to make. So I made those changes. I'll wait to hear from you guys later today to make sure that it's all good. And then I'll send a message out as soon as I do hear. I'll send a message out so folks can get signed up. Folks, if you have not signed up, if you don't get any type of messages from Steve, you can go ahead and make sure that you get the message that I'm going to send about the clinic. It's 8, 9, and 10 out here in Arizona. The 8th is optional. 9 and 10 is a Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to be a participant, those are going to fill up real quick. They're going to go almost right away. So make the decision now if you want to bring your animal out here, be a participant. And then if you want to be a spectator, anyone and everyone can come. And even spectators get some hands-on training as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I've just put a link in the comment section. Y'all can get signed up there and check out y'all can get signed up there and check it out as soon as I send out the notification. Let's go through here and see if we can wrap up the rest of the question. Hey, Jack is watching from Johannesburg. Stacy says, would you recommend using your double snaffle bit on a horse too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Folks, that wire snaffle bit is the softest, easiest bit you can use. Watch some of my videos. You can see it in different people's hands. And you can see when I use the smooth snaffle bit, they jerk their hand away. Okay. And even with my bit, they'll jerk their hand away, but they'll tell you when I put it on their fingers, it's actually easier on you than it is with a smooth snaffle bit. Yes, it's easier.
All right, let's see here. Yolanda's watching. Hey, international. Got some awesome weather. It's okay. Storms have passed. It's dark outside. Enjoy it when you get out there, Yolanda. Jerry's watching from Indiana. Mary says, oh, here we go. Sorry. I rode the Guadalupe Mountains. Love my new saddle pad is what she was saying. Awesome. Rex is watching from Wyoming. Karen from California. Levi's watching, says, sorry I had to leave the live stream so early last week. Well, I'm glad you apologized. We were holding it against you, but now we'll forgive you.
That's the mule we just looked at.
Oh, that's Levi?
That's the mule we just looked at, Dave.
Okay.
That's Levi.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for all the stuff you said about my tractor mule, or tractor my mule. There you go. Let's see here. David Pingelli, come along coffee. Y'all got to get some. Put a link in the comment section. Steve, thank you for your evaluation of the mule and the tack setup. That's from Myra. Rob is watching from here. Hey, Steve and Dave, we are here in Queen Valley, Arizona. Great Arizona day. Rob is watching. Good to have you here, Rob. Mary says,
Rob.
I have
Yep.
geldings.
Hey, Rob.
Let's see. Yolanda. Brady from Delta. Polly says, this is why I prefer Molly. She said that about 20 minutes ago. I can't believe how fast time has gone. Let's see here. Susan Bachman from Newcastle, Colorado, 53 degrees and sunny here. Last spring, I attended a clinic at your place and really enjoyed it. Will you be having another one? Yes, we will, Susan. Make sure that if you don't get Steve's messages, you sign up with the link I put in the comment section. We're going to be sending out an email. Rex says, what medications would you recommend to have on hand? That was about the time we were talking about the sarcoidosis.
Okay, so number one, she was saying this is one of the reasons she likes to have mares. I've seen the same things on mares. Yes, I have. A sarcoid can come up all kinds of places, usually on the nose, sometimes underneath the eyes, but it will come on the genitals as well. So don't think that your Molly Mule wouldn't get it. Now, usually it's only under 5 years old. It's usually your 2-year-olds that have the problem. So let's go back. What was the question here, Dave?
Question was, what medications would you recommend to have on hand?
All right. Number one medication, folks. Number one is your eyes. You hear that? Your eyes. And your smell. Why is that? Because when you look at the manure, you can see how green it is and what it smells like. Okay? When you look at the urine, you can see them urinating. You can see how clear it is and what it smells like. Look at the water and this sort of thing. Next thing. Now, learn to watch the nostrils for breathing. If the donkey is stressed out, you will see the head hanging down low and the nostril really flaring. Get used to watching that part. And if that's a problem, then start watching see, it's breathing fast. So the nostrils are flaring. Next thing, look back, put your hand down along the shoulder until you can feel the heart. And if you feel that heart in your hand, it's really thumping, head to the vet. Head to the veterinarian. Now, okay, now here we go. You're like me. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're 3 hours away from a vet. Hypothetical figures. All right. What do? Banamine. I prefer a injectable Banamine that you can either do intermuscular or you can go directly into a vein. I prefer IV. Okay. I can go directly in the vein and give that Banamine immediately. What does the Banamine do? Banamine relaxes the muscles and keeps the muscles from getting against the intestines, which then, especially if there's a blockage, the intestines start expanding and making the mule really scared. Yes, they can, folks. And your donkey is the same way. Okay. And so the Banamine relaxes that. You can go intermuscular. You'll see when I do my clinic here at the ranch, you'll see my hand go against the edge of the shoulder. And I'll tell you, put the shot anywhere like this in the neck if you do it intermuscular. If you go IV, you're going to go through a jugular right here. You're going to put it up through, and then you're going to give the IV. All right. And so intravenously is what you're going to do. It's not an IV coming off of a water bag or anything like that. But that's number one. That's my favorite thing to have around. Rattler bites and things like this. You want to be able to, I use a steroid when I do that. And I'm not going to go into names and stuff. Talk to your veterinarian. Okay. Get the information from them. But your veterinarian can also supply you with a paste that you can use for, in case you're a little worried about giving an injectable. Okay. They can give you a paste. The paste is not as quick. It's better than nothing, especially when you're a long ways away from a veterinarian. It's better than nothing. Okay. So that would be one of the main things that I would use. If you get a chance, folks, if you go to some of these, like the Equine Affair in Ohio, great places to go there and do these clinics and listen to these veterinarians, shoers, trainers, and things like this, and start building a vocabulary and get to know, especially when you're back in the middle of nowhere. Okay. You're back in the middle of nowhere. You got to learn how to do some things like nail a shoe on. Now, one of my things is, for me, because I've done this a lot, and if I get a mule really cut bad, I use tail hair and I use a needle and I can stitch one up. And that you may have to do sometimes. So anyway, there you go. I've gone from one extreme to the other, but Banamine is my favorite thing, my first go-to among anything else.
Dog Mom's watching. Good to have you here, Dog Mom. Let's make that a Mule Mom as well. Let's see here. Angie is watching from Colorado. I'm grooming horses and listening in our barn. We have a mule foal due in a few weeks. We have had horse foals before, but this will be our first mule foal. Send pictures, Angie. We'd love to see.
Hey,
Michelle says, I actually saw a person that is a mobile unit that travels around Illinois, Indiana area and cleans horse and mule sheaths and penises. She was on Facebook. I think they were actually a vet's assistant. Very good. So if you're in the Indiana and Illinois area, you got a resource there. Maybe check with Michelle. Edgar is watching from Oklahoma. Steve at Seymour Springs Ranch. Good information. Thanks. Dog Mom says, I just treated our donkey for sarcoids on his ear with a balanced eco solution. Great stuff. No burning. Balanced eco solution, she says. Let's see here. Ordia is watching. We've got Terry and Roger from Hudson Valley, New York. Judy is watching. We'll be so glad when stays late lighter and can be feed lighter. Got to go feed and unload. Judy, get it done. Come back, watch the replay. Catherine is watching. Judy says, definitely got to get back and watch this for sure. Julie Eden just popped in. Appling, Georgia. Julie, you are our last person. Steve, do we have any coffee or anything to give away today?
Hey, you know what? We got a bridle.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We got coffee too. Yeah. So which do we want to give away? Ask the people
All
out
right.
there. Which do you want to
So,
give
real
away?
quick, folks, coffee or bridle? We're going to give away coffee or bridle today. And here's how it works. While y'all are saying what you want us to give away, here's how it works. We're going to ask a question, and I would say I think it's always been something that we've talked about during today's Q&A clinic. Steve's going to ask it. Now, y'all have your chat in front of you. You can see everybody else's comments. I have like a special one that's used for folks who moderate chats like I do. Whoever gets the answer correct first on my screen gets the prize. So do y'all want it to be a bridle or a coffee? And so then what'll happen is I'll wait a few minutes, a few seconds, probably about 15, 20 seconds to see what answers come in. I think I typically know the answer. Sometimes I have to wait and hear what Steve says. And then I'll go ahead and ask, and the first person who got it right gets the goods. All right, the people have spoken. We've got one for coffee, and the rest are for bridle. So let's give away a bridle, Steve.
All right, we got it. Bridle it is.
All right.
All right. So now, you folks, here's what I've got is large bridles left over right now. That's all I've got. So it's going to be a large bridle. It adjusts quite a bit, and you can punch holes in it as well. So if that's what I have is a bridle. So here's my question. When a mule is not feeling good and you see his nose flaring, what do you usually do?
When a mule, what'd you say, not looking good?
Yeah, when a mule, you can see he's not feeling good, and normally his nose is pretty quiet. But when you see him really flaring, what do you do?
Dog mom says coffee. Feed coffee.
Coffee.
No. All right. All right. All right. We've got four different answers. Give it a couple moments here. All right. Carla, I see your answer. Jackie, Judy, Bill, Michelle, Angie. Let's give it one more minute here. I think okay. Lamar. Okay, it's one of these where I think there's probably multiple answers. We're looking for the best answer, right? Like those old school tests. I would do the Iowa standards or the Stanford test and be like, which of these represents the best answer? So, okay. Jackie, Nolan, Dog Mom. All right, so I'll read them off, Steve, and you tell me. I'll read off a few, and then I'll say, okay, which one is it? So we've got one that says Banamine. We've got one that says call a vet. We've got one that says check the heart rate, then call the vet. We've got call the vet, Banamine. Look for the root of the problem. What is the best answer that we're looking for, Steve?
Okay, if my very first thing would be say call the vet. Absolutely call the vet, because once the nose is flaring, that tells you that the heart rate is up, but the next thing to do is run your hand down and check it. But if he's flaring, you see his head's down, your mule is colicking. Here's the problem, Dave, and I want you all to get this. Mules and donkeys are so stoic. They can be in their last hours of colicking and then die. You're thinking they're standing up doing good. They're not rolling like a horse. No, not all of them roll like a horse. Okay. So you see he's off his feet. That's another question, another thing. He can be off his feet, but you see his head down and nose is flaring. You better be calling a vet, because your mule's in trouble. Your donkey's telling you what's going on.
All right. So is the answer call the vet?
Call the vet.
All right. Yeah. So let's go back here. Let's see. The people wanted the bridle, and the winner of the bridle today is going to be Jackie Allen. Jackie Allen, you are the winner of a Steve Edwards large headstall bridle. It's going to look
Bridal.
awesome. It's going to be great. Jackie, what you can do is send a message to steve@muleranch.com with your shipping address, and Steve will get it out there. So Jackie Allen, let's see, Beckelman, Jackie Bisceglia. Sorry, I'm just not good. I don't know all the words, all the last names. Beckelman Allen, you are the winner. Everyone is congratulating Jackie, as well they should. It's a fair competition and good sportsmen's here. I love it. Jackie says, hey, Steve, can I take the coffee? I have a really small mule.
Yes.
All right. Steve will take care of you. Jackie, send a message to steve@muleranch.com with your shipping address. He'll get it out there. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Glad you all are here. Thanks for those who spent a few extra minutes hanging out with us. I will be sending out an email here very soon with registration information. Like I said, the participant information, the participant spots, those will be gone quick. So if you're wanting to come out here, bring your animal, buy it right away. Participants, get those right away. Spectator, still, you want to sign up ASAP because we want to get you registered. There will be no day of registrations. You cannot show up on the ranch and say, hey, I want to be here. We've already planned. We've already secured space. We've already taken care of accommodations. So get signed up as soon as possible, and we would love to see you out here. Linda says fab broadcast today. I think so too. Steve, anything else you want to say?
No, hey, Dave, I tell you what, I really appreciate our listening audience. I appreciate them tremendously. You know, I miss not doing the clinics and traveling the United States and this sort of thing. I really do, because I love the hands-on and this sort of thing. And I miss it tremendously, especially when I want you folks to see, do this yourself. Okay. You don't need to have a trainer, because most of these trainers or horse trainers anyway, and they're not looking to build a foundation, and they are not being a leader. Okay. You do it yourself. Use the come along hitch. Forget about the halter. Yes, if you want to buy the come along kit, I mean the ground communication kit, order it. I'll send you the halter in a couple of weeks, but the come along hitch is the most important.
Awesome. Thanks, folks. Appreciate you hanging out. Can't wait to meet you out in Queen Valley come April, beginning of April. Can't wait to meet you. It's going to be so much fun. Be looking for that email. And yeah, tell all your friends. Steve, we'll see you later.